Hi, my name's Chef. This is the Red Rum podcast you're listening to, New Zealand Red Rum podcast. It's another beautiful day here in Grey. Well, it ain't bad anyway. And today I'm going to be telling you the story of Rodney Tahu. He was a gas station bloke. He worked at Shell in Turangi. He got killed. It was awful. But anyway, this podcast is not suitable for children. We're going to be discussing a hate crime. In July... Some of the information from this podcast is taken from the 12th of July 2013 article in the Rotorua Daily Post. Rodney Tahu murder. Menzies Hallett gets life. I also took things from some other articles as well. There's some interviews online with Rodney Tahu's family, stuff like that. Anyway, let's kick it. Rodney Tahu worked at a Shell gas station in the small North Island town of Turangi. It's in the Central Plateau district by the shores of Lake Taupo, but on the opposite side of Taupo Township. Turangi is actually a pretty cool place, with birdsong and wild rivers. Town does have problems too, like poverty, unemployment, but all in all it's a good one. But some super messed up crimes do go down there. There are definitely more violent towns in the Central Plateau than little old Turangi. Menzies Hallett was a hateful man. I reckon he's white power. I mean, well, he wasn't in a white power gang or nothing, but his actions speak louder than words, and his actions and his words were both very much white power, so that's what I'd refer to him as. Probably when he did eventually get to jail, the white power would have asked him to join. Anyway. Rodney Tahu was a family man. He had 2 kids, brothers, sisters, and he worked for Shell gas station in Turangi. Rodney Tahu didn't drink alcohol. Rodney Tahu was a singer and he was into trout fishing. He also liked cars, especially hot rods. So his job was good for him, you know. It was the 16th of August in 1979. Rodney Tahu didn't know Menzies Hallett. He was busy closing up the shop on the late shift. In fact, he was out on the forecourt, probably bringing things in for the night, when a car pulled up with a Pākehā bloke wanting oil for his car. I read in another article that said Menzies Hallett wanted a packet of smokes. He may have wanted both. I mean, I work at a gas station. Smokes and bottles of engine oil are pretty standard. I'm not sure what the policy was there, but at my gas station we don't reopen the shop for people because you're in danger of getting robbed when you do that. For whatever reason, Rodney said no. He didn't know there was a bolt-action rifle in the car. Menzies Hallett shot Rodney Tahu. As Rodney Tahu came for him, he rushed him for the gun, which was probably his best option. I mean, this guy's so psycho, I don't see Rodney turning and running away as being a safe option. He just would have got shot in the back instead, but Rodney rushed him. Menzies shot him through the shoulder. Rodney fell down. And then he shot him twice in the head and shouted, "Die, die, you black bastard." It's pretty horrific. Rodney Tahu's family drove to the hospital to say their goodbyes, but they were too late. This was a for real hate crime. That's why I wrote this podcast. Because people think New Zealand's a safe country. Well, it's not. I mean, think about it. People may say Iraq is a dangerous country. Well, what goes on there? People get shot, amongst other things. Now, I've never been to Iraq. In fact, I'm not really very well travelled. But my point is, for a bloke who got shot up in Turangi compared to a bloke who got shot up in Baghdad, well, it's pretty much the same thing. My next point is anyone planning to come on a holiday to New Zealand, definitely come here. You'll have a great time. The nature is truly wonderful. Bird song, brave rivers run through green valleys, rolling hills roll all the way to the horizon. It's great. But don't think this place is a safe country. That's just a line we sell tourists on. Most of the heavy violence in New Zealand is New Zealanders on other New Zealanders, but tourists can get thrown in the meat grinder too. Check this out. Urban Hogland and Heidi Pekonen and Grace Mullane were the first high-profile ones that came to mind, but I just looked it up, and they're the tip of the iceberg. I mean, check this out for bad with a capital B-A-D. September 1998, cold case murder of Japanese lady Keio Matsuzawa. She was studying English in Christchurch. Jumped on a plane to Auckland, checked into her backpackers and disappeared. 10 days later, her body gets found in a utility cupboard in the Centre Court building, naked. Case remains unsolved. 2005, Bridget Bauer was a 28-year-old German hitchhiker. She got picked up in Wanganui. She got beaten badly and stabbed by Michael Scott Wallace. He got jailed for the murder. Now, would she go hitchhiking if she wasn't in a safe country? Well, perhaps she would, but hey, I mean, if you're in New Zealand and it's a safe country, well then what could possibly go wrong? And you could forgive her for thinking that it was a safe country. I mean, everyone says that, right? 2008, Scottish tourist called Karen Aim was walking down the street minding her own business. The 27-year-old was going back to her accommodation in Taupo. She gets hit in the back of the head with a baseball bat. And it's possibly New Zealand's youngest female murderer, Jahish Broughton, 14-year-old, who wielded the bat that night. There's more. Check it out. 2003. Jae Hoon Kim, a South Korean hitchhiker, gets killed by skinheads just south of Westport. I'm writing another podcast where I'll discuss this case further. Fast forward to May 2012, Central Otago, where it gets worse, or at the very least continues to be awful. Dagmar Pajtikova from Czech Republic jumped into a silver BMW. Jason Ferranti was a digger driver from Waimate. He takes her all the way to the forest in South Canterbury for a sexual assault, followed by a murder-suicide. Hey, it's not over yet. Now rewind to 1992 in Hamilton. Wayne Glenn Tokotahi Pakau, a 29-year-old, stabs Marjorie Hopegood, an English tourist, in a Hamilton public toilet. So yeah, come to New Zealand. Meet the friendly Kiwis. But don't forget to pack your rape alarm and pepper spray. Anyway, back to the Rodney Tahu murder. What happened next? Menzies Hallett tells his wife what he did the next day, and she goes to police. They arrest him but cannot make the charges stick because of a stupid law that a wife cannot testify against her husband. So he gets away with it for 33 years, until a law change allows the case to go ahead. 72-year-old Menzies Hallett gets 10 years jail in 2013. That he would die after receiving treatment for a medical event in prison in October 2019. In this case, I gotta say, I reckon the cops did really well. I mean, they tried to get him in 1979, but they never gave up. The sentence was weak, but that's the New Zealand courts every time. The actual New Zealand cops, I'll give them credit here. They've done pretty good. I mean, it was the oldest cold case ever solved in New Zealand criminal history. As far as I know, Rodney Tahu was the only gas station bloke to be killed in the line of duty. Other gas station guys get beat up. And one time the other gas station guy in Greymouth was robbed by some whack job with a samurai sword, no less. Perhaps not authentic samurai sword, but still a real sword. I mean, lucky he didn't swing it, you know what I mean? He was just there to intimidate and to rob, but... well, that's all I had to say about that. So anyway, hit the like button and subscribe and all that. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. The end.